Right, so according to YouTube, or not YouTube, the Hangout, we are live.
Mm.
We'll see, give it a second here until the stream itself catches up with the YouTube, and then we can go from there.
Ooh.
I'm always worried about how big the delay is, because I don't want to just sit here in silence and have people wondering why nobody's talking.
Well, it looks like it's starting. Ooh. I
Oh yeah,
think. I think. Yeah. Is it? Oh.
it looks like it's trying to be. Alright, cool, here we go. Awesome, so pause that stream, and we are live. Okay, hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. Thanks for joining the second live stream on this channel, and it's really exciting for the second live stream to have two fellow Jvloggers here, people whose videos I really enjoy. The first is Bernie Lowe, and the second is LisaSometimes. Not in any particular order, we'll just say it's alphabetical. So, Bernie, if you'd like to start off and introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you're doing in Japan and about your videos or your channel, whatever you like.
Okay. Sure. All right. Hi everyone. So, my channel is called Being My Life, which pretty much just is about my life in Japan. I am 21, turning 22 this year, and currently a student in a Japanese university, Kwansei Gakuin Daigaku, studying Asian studies. And I've been here almost 3 years already. Yeah, March 2015 will make it 3 years. So yeah, I vlog a lot about like stuff that I find cool, so like cool food. But I also like to do a lot of videos about Japanese music, because I go to a lot of concerts. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
it. So hi.
uh, yeah, Lisa, would you care to introduce yourself?
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I'm originally from the UK and I'm here on a working holiday visa. I just arrived about 1 month ago and I'm still pretty new to YouTube as well. I joined up, I think, last August. So I haven't got that many videos up yet, but I'm mostly making videos about my language studies. I studied at university for 4 years, but since then my language skills have kind of gone downhill, so I'm trying to study on my own to keep my proficiency up. And I took the JLPT last month for the first time, so I've got a few videos about that as well. And I think since arriving in Japan, I'm just going to try and make videos about places I visit, practical stuff like I've got one about getting an income, and just day-to-day life, I guess. So yeah, nice to meet you all.
Awesome. Well, okay, thank you both for again joining me. This is really exciting to have you both here. So, the big thing I really want to talk about today, because there are so many questions that people ask about things to expect when they move over here, right? Or when they first are planning to come over here, whether they're just coming for an extended stay or they want to move, whatever the case may be. So basically, I thought we should get into some of the things that we can do to talk about, or to help people financially, emotionally, medically, whatever the case may be, to make their transition here a little bit easier. So I guess the best place to start is probably with like financially. I guess I wonder what your guys' big tips are for people who are coming here with a set amount of money and they're waiting to get paid sometimes for 2 months. Um, so yeah, I'll open the floor.
Mm. When I first came, I brought quite a bit of cash with me,
Mm.
because I'm here on scholarship, so
Oh, nice.
like
Okay.
I got like a whole bundle of money up front. So I brought it over, and the first thing I did within the first 3 days was to set up a Japanese bank account. Uh,
Oh,
but
have we
you
lost
need,
Bernie? Oh no, there she is.
Oh
yeah,
yes. Sorry, Brittany. You started out right around the bank account part.
yeah. So yeah, you need to open a bank account. You need, like, for me, I needed a hanko. So like most places are more open to like letting foreigners like make accounts and stuff if you have a hangul, so that's definitely very helpful. Uh,
Did you have any trouble with registering with like your ward office or anything, so you could get a bank account and all that?
no, I didn't really have any trouble like registering for stuff. Though, like if you don't, because I'm not sure if you get your like alien registration or resident card immediately now, but
Right.
like when I came, you had to apply for it, and you would get it in like maybe a week or so, but you would have like a piece of paper in lieu of that, so I used that instead.
Oh, okay, I see. So I got my card when I came through,
Hmm.
but I haven't been able to get a bank account until I actually register it with the ward office.
Hmm.
And since the ward office has been closed for the past 2.5 weeks because of the holiday, it's been fun. So I'm actually just getting my bank account this week,
Hmm.
actually. So, but yeah, Lisa, did you have any trouble? If you've opened a bank account, I don't know, but
I haven't actually opened my bank account yet, but following on from what Bernie was saying about registering at the ward office, I also had some kind of problems with that because what happened was when I first arrived, my plan was to live in Hakuba up in Nagano-ken. So I registered with the ward office in Hakuba, or the village office in Hakuba. But obviously I didn't stay there very long, and I didn't actually realise that when you move out, you need to notify your local ward office again to get a moving out certificate. I didn't know this, so I didn't do that. So obviously, when I went to register with my new ward office, when I got to Tokyo, they said that I had to get this certificate, and my Japanese comprehension still isn't perfect, so and they didn't have English-speaking staff, so be prepared when you get to the ward office for there not to be any English-speaking staff. You will have to know at least some Japanese. Um, so I kind of vaguely understood that she was telling me to like send my resident card, like a photocopy of my resident card, back to the
right,
village office where I originally registered, and then I think you have to send like a stamped and self-addressed envelope as well, and then they'll send it back to you. So I did that, and it took maybe a week or so. So finally, they sent me back this moving out certificate, and I think it was just yesterday, or maybe the day before now, that I was finally able to register my address. So that was kind of a relief. And you're supposed to do it within 14 days of moving into somewhere, but I think because of the New Year holidays, I was a few days late. But thankfully, I guess maybe because it's the time of year, they were really understanding and they didn't like give me any trouble about that. So finally, I'm registered. So the next hurdle, I guess, is opening a bank account.
right. Well, that's good. Yeah, because I'm beyond the 14-day limit too, so that's something I've worried about. So I'm glad they didn't, redo the riot act or whatever the case may be. Can you guys hear me still? I'm having some technical
Yeah,
difficulties
I
over
can
here.
hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear
Right.
you.
I'm not sure if the stream is going to close randomly at some point, but I hope not. So, basically, not basically anything, but yeah, really, really good information. Now, Lisa, if you don't mind my asking, you presumably didn't come over with a scholarship, or did you have a job set up before you came over, or did you come
Um,
over here and look?
No, I was working back in the UK, and it took me quite a while to save up like my initial funds, I guess. Thankfully, I had like friends and family who were happy to help me out as well, so that was really helpful. But yeah, it took mostly just lots of dedicated saving in my case. Is everyone still here?
Well, yeah, I'm still here.
We've lost Charlie.
Yeah, we've lost Charlie.
Does that mean the video will have stopped? Because I mean, it's his channel, so I don't know what the implications of that are.
Well, so far it seems that we are still here. It's just that Charlie has disappeared.
Hey, sorry about that.
Okay, we have him back now.
Sorry, that's so incredibly annoying. Sorry, fair viewers, you wonderful human beings. I hope not too many people Walk
Yeah,
the
someone
plank
mentioned the
system.
whistling. Charlie thought it was sirens, like you thought it was like a police incident or something. So it's actually the wind in my apartment. I'm
Yes,
up on the
pretty.
ninth floor, so it's pretty intense up here.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy sound.
It is,
Uh,
yeah.
really. So but yeah, what I was gonna say, or what I was saying, I think. What was even the last thing I was saying? I've completely lost my train of thought. But anyway, we have the creepy noise covered, so that's good news.
Oh, the ward office, maybe. Like registering at the ward office.
Right, yeah, we got past that, and
Yeah.
oh yeah, we were talking about money, how much money you came over, or like if you had a
Oh,
job
yeah,
that
of
lined
course.
up. Sorry to make you repeat yourself.
Oh, yeah, so basically in my case, I think it was just, I just saved up for a really long time. I went without a lot of luxuries in the UK, like, I barely bought anything for myself at all. I was, like, eating the bare minimum. I just made a lot of sacrifices, really, because I wasn't earning a great deal. I was in a job that paid barely more than minimum wage, and it was only
Uh-huh.
part-time, so I think, if anything, I think what I would say to people is, if you're on a low income, don't give up. It is doable. It just takes real dedication and
Mm,
time. I think you've got to be willing to accept that it's not going to happen immediately. You're going to need to like put in months, maybe years. But if you really want it, then it's definitely worth going for.
yeah, for sure. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've seen from people in their messages and whatever is saying, I don't know when I'll ever be able to get over there. I won't be able to get over there for a couple of years, and they're really discouraged by that, I think. So I think hearing that is thumbs up. As Posey would say, that's so American to give you the thumbs up, but whatever.
Oh, I'm always doing the thumbs up. I love the
All
thumbs
right, good.
up.
That's good news. um, but no, what would you guys say is like the big money trap, I guess, coming over here? Like, what's the thing people really shouldn't be doing that a lot of people do that you've done, or other foreigners you've heard of them doing when they've come over here that just like eats up
Taxis.
their bank account? What's that?
Taxis add up really quickly. Taxis. I used them a lot
Uh,
when I first got here because I didn't want to carry my big suitcases around. But I mean, like some journeys are like 3,000 yen just to go maybe like a few miles, and I think taking the luggage on the train would have been inconvenient, but for the
mm,
money I'd have saved, it really would have been probably the better option.
right.
Mm.
How
Right,
about
right.
you? How about you, Bernie? You've been there quite a bit longer than either of us, so or here, I should say.
Like one thing I found I didn't know this until I came over is like when you search for an apartment you have to do the thing where you give your landlord the money. Like sometimes it amounts to 1 month's rent. So it's supposed to be like deposit or key money, but it's actually a gift, so you never get it back.
Ugh,
Yeah. So
that's
stuff
the
like
worst.
that, yeah, it's pretty pricey.
I think that's one of the biggest benefits of coming over with a job lined up is that
Mm.
usually you don't have to worry about key money or whatever the other one is that's really expensive too. And pretty much how it works too is a lot of companies subsidize your rent. So if
Mm.
either they'll pay a portion of it or they'll say, okay, if it's more expensive than like 40,000 yen, we'll pay the difference. So, but I mean, obviously that's not an option for everybody depending on the situation. But yeah, that
I
key
would
money, that
say
could have been fun.
I would say if you're here kind of short to mid-term, one option to consider is there are certain letting agencies who rent exclusively to foreigners, and often they don't require sort of like the reikin or the shikikin. You can
Mm.
just pay your deposit and your first month's rent, and sometimes a utility fee, and you're good to go. I guess the trade-off is they are often more expensive than regular apartments, but if you haven't got the money for that one-off initial cost, that it's gonna because I guess if you're here long term, it's less of a big deal. But if you're here short term, that can be like equivalent to maybe like your first month or two in rent. So if you're only here for like 6 months, maybe up to a year, I'd suggest looking at the foreigner-only letting agencies.
Mm.
Like for example, my current apartment, I'm renting through a company called Sakura House, and I wouldn't necessarily strongly recommend them based on my experiences. I'm probably going to make a video about that at some point once I've moved out and they can't evict me. But yeah, I mean, it's got positives and negatives wherever you go, I guess. So it's
Right.
worth considering.
Now, Bernie, is your apartment? Are you on campus, or is it like an off-campus deal you had to look for?
No, I'm not on campus, and well, the place I'm currently staying at, I think they have a tie-up with my school. Like it's
Okay.
normal private apartments, but like I pay rental to school. So there are other like foreign students as well staying here.
I gotcha. Oh, so is it? Oh, that's probably nice, and right, you've been able to meet a lot of different people.
Mm.
Sweet. Other things, other money things. I don't know. Even I think Lisa, you touched on one of the big ones with the taxis, but I would say even riding the train or the bus unnecessarily, like that adds up really, really quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm originally from London, so I think coming from there, the trains and buses seem really cheap over here because London is really expensive for that kind of stuff. So
Sure.
in a way, I think because it feels cheaper, it can be kind of deceiving because I think, oh well, you know, I'll just hop on the train for this like really short journey, and then you kind of don't realize how much it adds up. So yeah, I'd agree with that really.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty strange sometimes the amount of money you pay depending on where you live, I guess. I mean that in itself isn't strange. What I mean to say is, like here for example, if I want to go a place that's probably about a mile as the crow flies, as they said 1,000 years ago, that it's probably like $3, 300 yen. But if I want to go a place that's maybe 2 miles away, for whatever reason, that's only $1.50. You know what I mean? So it's kind of, I don't know if you've ever experienced anything like that. I don't know if it's because it goes through the mountains or something anyway, but the point is that, yeah, it adds up really quick. $3 adds up really quick. And I guess you quickly, at least for me, I start to equate walking a mile with being a lot cheaper
Mm.
Yeah,
than spending
definitely.
$3 a day, 7 days a week. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was one of the dumb things off the cuff we talked about earlier. I just said right there. So, but yeah, and Shannon in the comments here is right about coming with more money than you think you'll need.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. So I just had to pay to have my aircon repaired, and that cost me $200, and my company will reimburse that, but not for a month. And by the time I get paid, I will have been without a paycheck for 2 months. So, point there is, if you're coming over here to work, yeah, prepare for, I would say, 3 months living expenses, even if you think you'll get paid within a month.
Yeah, and I think there's sorry. Okay, I think there's also a lot of like extra, not really admin costs, but like things that you don't realize you need to pay. Like fees at your apartment place or whatever.
Right.
Etc. Etc.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and I think I don't know. I think it's kind of problematic too because I don't know if it was the same for you when you came over to start school, but there's so many things that your school probably should have told you that you're gonna have to worry about, or your boss really should have told you that you're gonna have to worry about, and so suddenly you're like, okay, well that's a big monthly expense, and suddenly like, well, I mean, what am I supposed to do about it? I mean, you can't avoid the cost, right? And so I think maybe that speaks to the importance of really, really heavy research. Even that doesn't always do it. So, yeah. All of this to say, listen to Shannon and bring way more money.
I would say as well, if you know any of the big expenses that you've got coming up, like for example, I'm thinking of moving into an apartment next month, so I've worked out my budget that I can afford in terms of rent and stuff, and I know I'm probably going to have to pay a deposit again. So I've taken that money and I've put it aside, and you know just if you've got big expenses, just put that money aside and don't touch it, and then work with what you've got left over, because if you start eating into your rent money, then that's just going to cause big problems that you don't want to be dealing with. So yeah, it's just I guess that's just common sense really, wherever you are, not just in Japan.
Indeed. Right, so I guess we can kind of open it up to the floor here before we move on to the next point and see if anybody has any questions about more specific costs, whether it's for food, for apartment rent, other miscellaneous costs.
Laundry as well, because I don't know about you guys, but where I live, there's only like a coin-operated laundry. So like every time I want to do a load of washing, that's 200 yen to wash the clothes, and then
Yeah.
I think it's 100 yen per 20 minutes to dry them. And there's not really any room to hang up clothes to dry in my apartment, so I have to use the dryer if I want them to dry like quickly. So yeah, that adds up quickly as well, I guess.
Yeah, it does, and I think I don't know how many clothes you bought with how much clothing you brought with you, but I mean, in my case, I don't have enough clothing where I can go like a week. Sometimes, depending on the situations I find myself in, it might not be able to go 5 days without doing laundry. Right, so I guess if you constantly have to do it just so you can wear clean clothes every couple of days, I think, yeah, that's rough. And I mean, the laundry thing, as you can see, I actually have all my laundry hanging up here for a beautiful background for our watchers. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad I don't have to worry about paying those costs, of course. But the fact that the dryer setting on the freaking laundry, the combination laundry dryer, right, it's literally just spins it around for 9 hours, and that's supposed to dry it. Like that just. The fact that the toilet will heat your ass and clean it for you, but there's not a dryer function, it just drives me a little crazy. Just seems a little incongruous, but well.
Yeah, like proper dryers seem to be a very a rarity in Japan. Like I have an actual dryer in my apartment, and a lot of people whoa, that's crazy. It's amazing, but it's really expensive. It uses a lot of electricity.
Yeah, no doubt. My host mother had one, and it was the best thing ever, having warm underpants. I mean, I guess you don't understand how much you miss warm, dry underpants until you can't have them anymore. Put that on my tombstone. But any questions from the audience about money before we move on to like the emotional side of things? There are no women's clothes here, sir. How dare you? Whatever. I like to dress up fancy on the weekends. Next video is a tour of my pumps and other shoe names.
We have uncovered Charlie's secret.
Yep. It's okay. Proud to be me. They call me Hedwig. No, not sure if anybody gets that joke. But anyhow, doesn't look like anybody has any questions. So, what about the emotional aspect of moving here? The homesickness, the not having any friends at first here, or maybe you do if you connect through Line or stuff like that. But people who you can fall back on when you're feeling like crap, who aren't 12 hours away from you or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I found this really hard when I first arrived. I very nearly went home because of it. It's just, and I guess I wasn't really expecting it because I've been looking forward to it for such a long time, and it wasn't like it was my first time in Japan, so I thought, oh, well, I won't get culture shock because I've been here before, right? So I think it was just because it's the first time I've ever travelled anywhere on my own, and I think even if it is somewhere that you've been before and that you're really looking forward to going to, I'd say be prepared for that kind of sudden homesickness, that desire to just like get the hell out of there and go home. You're really going to miss like your people back home. You're going to miss stupid things like your favorite foods that you can't eat anymore, and just like the familiarity of your daily routine. And it's going to be, I'd say, I'd expect for most people it's going to be really tough, and you know you're going to cry, you're going to feel like crap. But I think, and you know, I think the best thing to do is just accept that, like accept that you're not going to like just walk into your new life and immediately everything's going to be fantastic. It's I think maybe for some people that happens, but I think it's realistic to just accept that maybe the first few weeks are going to be really rough. You're going to come across like all sorts of problems, all sorts of unexpected feelings. You're probably going to embarrass yourself. Like I think it was my second day here. I walked into the Tofu Hands department store and I smashed a really expensive bottle of wine. Everyone turned around and laughed at me, and it was just, and I was still really jet lagged. And again, like the jet lag is something you should really prepare for. Like make sure you've not got any big plans in the first few days because you're going to feel like crap. And you know, just let yourself like stay in the hotel. Just you know, give yourself time to recover from the long journey and just adjust to your new environment. I think so. Yeah, I'd say first few weeks, expect that it's going to be really tough. You're going to miss home. You're going to be jet lagged. You're going to come into like all kinds of things you couldn't prepare for, no matter how much you were like planning in advance. And just console yourself with the fact that if you stick it out and if you don't give up, then there are better times ahead. Because I mean, when I was at my lowest, I really thought, you know, I've just made such a big mistake coming here. You know, this isn't the right place for me. I'm not going to be happy here. You know, I just want to go home. But you know, even from that low point, I mean, I've been here about a month now, so a few weeks have passed since then, and already I'm just feeling like, I mean, I do still miss home, and I still miss like my favorite foods and stuff, and it's still tough at times, but I've just had so many really wonderful experiences since I got here that it's all been like more than worth it, I think. So you know, don't give up during those first few hard weeks.
I think sort of speaking to something within that is that you really have to consider when you're coming over here too. Because I mean, Lisa, you and I got here at about the same time. And coming from the States where Christmas is such a big family thing, and just sort of that in and of itself, Christmas Eve and Christmas were really difficult. New Year's not so much, but Christmas and the time leading up to that, knowing that I was missing time with my friends, I was missing, you know, like all the family traditions, and I've never missed them. And I'm gonna be 30 in well a couple years. I have a couple years. Don't judge me yet. But I think that something that really needs to be considered is um, how much weight those things can bring with them that maybe you don't really think of ahead of time. And I remember thinking multiple times when I was at my lowest that it was the thing I didn't really think about, because as with a lot of people who come here or go someplace wherever they really have always wanted to go and they love it and they love the idea of it, is the thing you don't really consider is that which you can't really consider, I think. I mean, you don't know how much you're going to miss those daily routines Lisa was talking about. You don't know how much you're going to miss like a food that your mom really doesn't make all that well, but suddenly like the idea of it is amazing, right? So I think the blind ambition gets you, and it'll get everybody, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I think, as Lisa said, you just have to accept that there are going to be crap days, and there are days when I've said this many times, maybe you're going to cry in the bathtub, or maybe you're going to put on women's clothes. That's a joke. That one's a joke. But I think acceptance is probably the best thing, or better to be ready for the adventure and both the negatives and the positive of that, I guess. So, but Bernie, I think with you being here for 3 years, I think you probably have not necessarily like a different perspective, but a broader perspective, right? I think.
Hmm?
No, I was just saying. I wonder how your perspective has differed or expanded since you've been there for so much longer than we have been here, rather?
Well, like for me, well, I was super like sad like when I first came, but like I guess for me I'm slightly luckier because I didn't really experience jet lag, or there's only like 1 hour difference between like Singapore, where I'm from. So I still got to chat with like a lot of my friends and like family like real time. So like I use them as like a very strong like support system for me. So every time I feel homesick, like I take out the letters they write for me.
That's a great idea.
Mm.
And what is the time difference? I'm sorry if you just said that, but between here and Singapore. What's the time difference for you and your family? Is the audio gone to crap?
Yeah, I can't hear Bernie. Is she still there?
Ah,
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, there's Bernie.
okay.
Lisa, good to know. But no, Bernie, I was just wondering if there's what the time difference is for you and your family.
Oh, for me it is 1 hour.
Oh, okay, good. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for you, what is it? What is it? 9 hours, Lisa?
9 hours, yeah.
Uh,
So it's kind of
and
tough because when I'm waking up, they're going to bed and vice versa. So it's a kind of an awkward time difference, I think.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm 14 hours ahead of my family,
Mm.
which is weird, but I can make jokes about being from the future all the time. And yeah, so my little brother actually started calling me a Time Lord, which I'm really okay with. So, but did either of you guys fall into sort of the, I don't know, I don't want to call it like alcoholics trap, but basically the izakaya trap, right? Where, because izakayas I found are so easy to go and you spend more money than you want to, but the camaraderie is really fantastic. Even if your Japanese isn't very good, as in my case, people, I mean, it's the same as anywhere, right? Like the liquor makes people really friendly and they're really interested, and I think it helps sort of assuage some of those problems a bit. So I don't know if you've had the same issue.
Well, I've still yet to go to an izakaya. It's on my to-do list, but I mean, I think definitely the alcohol has been a big money drain for me, and also probably on my health, I guess, because I don't know, I'm quite like I sometimes feel quite awkward when meeting new people. I guess I'm quite a shy person, but I enjoy meeting new people. I'm just not the best at it. So like obviously after I got over the initial like feeling like crap phase, then I wanted to go out and meet some new friends. I joined quite a lot of groups on meetup.com, which I'd really recommend, particularly if you're in the Tokyo area, because there are just so many active groups.
Mm.
So like the ones I go to usually, I go to a language exchange group. It's maybe every 2 weeks, and it's held in a British pub. And it's happy hour when the language exchange is going on. So obviously, like really cheap drinks, meeting new people. I mean, as I don't know, like those of you who follow me on Twitter might have seen, I learned a really cool new word the last time, which is nominication. Obviously, nomi being drink and communication. And I did a lot of nominication. I mean, like last time, the language exchange ended at 5 p.m. and like I was just like drinking and chatting and having a good time, and like I looked at my watch and it was 11 o'clock suddenly. It's like, where has the time gone? And I just like, and then like suddenly all my money was gone as well. It's like, okay, I probably shouldn't have spent 6 hours in the pub drinking, but you know, it's just, I think, yeah, it's a really easy trap to fall into, especially if you're a bit socially awkward and you need the kind of liquid courage to go out and
Sure.
use your Japanese and yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, like izakaya is definitely you end up ordering a lot more than like you actually want to either eat or drink. But That's why sometimes when you go there, they ask you, "Oh, do you want like the 3,000 yen tabe no mi hodai thing?" Which, if you really want to eat and drink a lot, that's probably the
It's a good deal,
cheaper
right?
option. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like for me, like I find izakaya super like really cheap compared to Singapore, because drinking in Singapore is really expensive.
More so than here?
So here, that's really cheap.
I'm sorry. What's you cut out for that part? What's really cheap?
Right. Like in like drinking in Japan is really cheap compared to Singapore.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because like one drink in Singapore will cost you like $12.
Yeah. What? Oh man, that would that would break my head a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
because I like, yeah. I mean, the beer here it blows my mind actually. But I guess in the States we're a bunch of drunkards and beer is pretty cheap, so maybe I don't know. But the fact that a can of beer, like just a little can, is like
No,
three
like
dollars
a
sometimes.
can. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, sorry, sorry.
But yeah, it's. Mm,
And but I love though that you can find like Chu High, right? Like that 8%
mm,
can of terrible booze for sometimes like 100 yen if you find it at like a
Yeah.
drugstore or something,
uh,
And
which
then,
is terrible.
and I mean, like spirits are really cheap there as well. Like I got this Jim Beam was like 300
mm,
yen. In the UK, this would be like maybe £6, so maybe like 2,000 yen. But yeah, it's really cheap over here. You know,
So do you guys have really high alcohol taxes in the UK and Singapore then, or what makes it so
I've never,
costly?
I never really thought about it. I mean, I just like that's just like the price that booze was to me. So I've never really thought
Sure.
about it until I came here. And mm,
I gotcha. Actually, my boss told me that just before we got here, apparently there was a new alcohol law passed, so the alcohol is going to be getting more expensive, which is just terrible news. So keep that in mind, people who are coming over here who have a drinking problem. It's going to cost you. Um, yeah, which I mean is probably good, right? Not that we really need to be spending all of our cash monies
yep.
on booze, but well, what about like the medical aspects of things? I mean, it's kind of tied to emotional health, but have you gotten your health insurance yet, Lisa?
well, I got the health insurance card when I first registered in Hackler.
Hmm.
And oh yeah, another thing you should be aware of if you're like coming over here for the first time is once you move out of a place, not only do you have to get the medical insurance certificate, but you also have to return your health insurance card. But the thing is, I mean, I've got the new health insurance card in my new ward, but they sent me an invoice from Hakuba, which is for like 4,900 yen, and I don't know whether I have to pay that here or if I have to send it back to Hakuba. Like I'll probably have to get my dictionary out and translate the whole form because
Uh,
I'm not really sure what it means. But yeah, it's I think it's sort of it's calculated by your income as well. So if you're on a lower income, you pay less or something. But I mean, I don't really understand it yet. I think it's probably something that I'm going to learn the hard way, perhaps.
ugh,
Yeah.
that's no good. And Bernie, presumably you've had it now. You've had it now for quite a while. Poor Bernie. Come back to us, Bernie.
Oh no. See, because like when my computer freezes, it shows up as you guys freezing instead of me.
Right, yeah,
Oh
yeah, yeah.
wow.
Sigh. But yeah, Bernie, so, yeah, are there student discounts or like a student price for health insurance or anything?
Supposedly there's supposed to be one, but like they still count it based on your income as a student. So if you
Mm. Poor Bernie. Poor Bernie. Yeah, but percentage of income, right? And as with other things, some employers will subsidize the cost of your health insurance up to 70%. So I think, for example, if you're paying 4,000 yen, what's that put it at? Almost 3,000 of that yen. So it's a good deal. But there's also a delay, which is something to keep in mind if you are coming over here with a job, is that you may be delayed for 3 or 4 weeks before you can get your health insurance because employers have to jump through more hoops to get you health insurance. And then there are things I have to worry about, like being penalized if, for example, you're really, really, really out of shape. Like, yeah, I made a joke to my manager the other day, and she didn't think it was funny. But it's basically like, I'm working here now, which means you're going to get penalized every year for having a fat foreigner on the payroll. And she didn't realize I was joking. She's like, it's not funny. It's not funny to make us spend money. But anyway, no accounting for jokes and whatnot. But yeah. Lisa, have you had any trouble with your health since you've been over here?
No, I've got a bit of cold at the moment, but I think like so far that's been the worst to hit me. So fingers crossed.
Do
I mean,
you?
I'm sure something really bad is gonna happen eventually. Well, not really bad. That sounds really ominous, but
I really, really
I'm
hope
sure I'm gonna
not.
come down with some illness at some point. But yeah, hopefully later rather than sooner.
Now, um do you wear the mask on the trains or when you're out and about or anything?
I haven't. No, not yet.
Mm, I think you might be surprised if and when you do wear it, how quickly or how radical the response can be from people on the train. Because when I was training in Chiba, and I started wearing one because I didn't want to get deathly ill. Um, there was like a noticeable reaction from one of the women on the train who couldn't believe that there was a foreigner like going through the bother of wearing the mask. So I guess that'll be
Really?
one of those
Oh,
things that'll be a fun experience to have.
oh,
Bernie, are
that's
you back?
interesting.
Yeah, Bernie's back. Yeah.
Yay!
Yay. Yeah, Bernie, do you wear the mask? I mean like the surgical mask to keep from getting sick.
When sick, you mean?
Well, yeah, when sick or to keep from getting sick when you're on the train and stuff like that.
Yes, but
Mm,
only after coming to Japan and realizing everybody does it, so I kind of probably should do it. But when I
right.
go back to Singapore, I never do it.
Yeah, same for me, I guess. Mostly because people in the States are sneezing at each other all the time and no one cares. It's like culturally accepted biological warfare,
Hmm.
I guess. So, but I mean, I was telling Lisa, like, that you get a weird reaction when you're, like, a noticeable gaijin wearing a mask, I think,
Hmm.
which is kind of one of those things. It's not as bad as people not sitting next to you on the train, but it's a little
Uh,
worrisome.
yeah. Like,
So,
yeah, I count myself lucky because I'm Asian, so I get by.
yes, you wear the mask. Shannon, uh, makes it sound kind of dirty, I think, the way Shannon
Yeah,
put
I was
those
like, wait,
scare quotes
what
around
mask?
it. Indeed. Um, but yeah, other advice, stuff that doesn't fall neatly into the categories we've set so far.
Rice?
Ad advice, but
Ah,
also rice, because
advice.
rice is good. Nada.
Oh, like, do I have any advice for people?
Yes.
Ah, hmm, hmm, Well, I guess, like, with regards to food, try and find, like, the cheapest supermarket. Because, like, there are, like, 3 or 4 supermarkets near me.
Yeah.
Did it lag again? Did I
Yeah,
lag
sorry
again?
about that.
Okay. Yeah, supermarkets. So like just try and find the cheapest one. Like for me, my cheapest one is a wholesale market that sells frozen food.
Okay,
Which
so
yeah.
uh dun dun dun. Oh, Lisa, welcome
Ooh.
back.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, I had to blow my nose. Like, was not a moment that I wanted immortalized on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a really good suggestion from Shannon, is to quickly get Japanese friends who can help you navigate life a bit easier, I think. But that said, there is something really great to the trial by fire of being wherever and someone asking you a question, you just like uh, yes, like you just say yes a bunch, or say no a bunch, and hope that it gets you through, but then it doesn't, and there's just more and more questions, and there's just like, and then slowly but surely you adjust, and you pick up more and more words and everything. But I don't know. There's definitely something to not having that crutch, I think.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass, which is quite likely.
Yeah, I guess like if you do something that seems like a really big challenge at first, and like you do it successfully, then it can be a really big confidence boost. So, well, actually, I'm gonna be all right. I can do this. So yeah, I think it's really cool when you think something's gonna be really hard, but then you end up being able to do it without turning to someone else for help. I guess.
Indeed. I think one of the one of the toughest things to do without like a Japanese friend is getting your phone.
Ah.
Is that a sigh of agreement, Bernie?
It's of agreement, yes, but I had an easy way out because my school just brought in like phone companies. But
Oh,
yeah, but the thing is you need to figure out which ones are cheaper, and sometimes you don't realize, that you've signed up for an expensive plan or signed a contract and you can't get out of it.
that would, yeah, that'd be terrible. I've had actually multiple friends accuse certain cell phone companies of being quite racist.
Hmm.
To like, if you're clearly a foreigner, whether in the way you speak or the way you look or whatever, there have been claims that certain ones will automatically smack you with higher prices.
Hmm.
And so that's, I guess, the strongest argument I've heard from people to make sure you bring like one of your Japanese friends with you so they
Hmm.
can help you not get smacked with that ban hammer. But that's not something I've had firsthand. So, and hopefully, I hope not to, of course. So, yes. So, to wrap up, we're coming into like the final stretch of the stream. I don't know. I would like to ask you guys, like, what are your plans for your channel, I guess? Seeing as part of the reason of getting people on here is to help people promote themselves. So, what's coming up? What can people look forward to?
Um,
If there's no plan, maybe
Um,
that's the magic, you know?
I guess like personally, I'd really like to make more videos about cool places that I visit because so many times when I'm out and about, I think, oh, this is a really beautiful place. I wish I could share it with my friends. And I guess like making a video would be the best way to do that. But I still feel quite awkward about filming in public. So I guess
Yeah.
I'd really like to get over the awkwardness and make more kind of out and about videos.
Yeah.
yeah, filming in public is very nerve-wracking and pretty embarrassing because people will just look at you. They're like, and then you're like,
The best is when you walk past like a multi-story apartment building and there are people looking out their windows. Like, what is going on there? And it looks almost like a movie scene. It reminds me of Beauty and the Beast when people are just popping out of the windows to see what's going on out there with Belle. Sadly, I'm not Belle, which is just too bad for them. But yeah, awkward for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, like actually one of my channel goals for like in January was to reach 100 subscribers, but I just went to check and I am now at 101.
Hey,
Yay!
Oh,
congratulations, that's
congrats.
awesome.
Yay.
Here's to many, many more.
And I will definitely
Explode.
get my introduction video up soon-ish.
I feel like that's something that I should probably do too at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Uh,
think I've done one either. Come to think of it.
which is kind of a weird thing, isn't it? It's like it's very. I mean, we're all on YouTube, so I guess it's not like we're hiding from attention, but at the same time, it seems super overly self-promotional to have an intro video, but it's
Mm.
necessary.
I mean, like, I guess like, when I first started making my videos, most of the people who watched them were people that already knew me, so I guess it kind of didn't feel like it was necessary to make an introduction. But I guess like I've met quite a few new people through YouTube, so maybe it's time to make one. I guess.
Hmm. Well, all those parks and stuff you have around you, I feel like you have some really beautiful shooting opportunities to set up a really great video, though, Lisa.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
It's really lovely around here in sort of like the north of Tokyo. It's an area I hadn't really even bothered to visit before on previous trips. But I think yeah, now that I'm living here and I'm taking the time to go out for walks and just see what's going on around me, it's a really beautiful place. So if you're looking for an off the beaten track Tokyo experience, come to the north and visit Komagome and Oji and all those kinds of places because it's
yeah,
kind of you're in Tokyo and you've got all the conveniences of Tokyo, but it's got a kind of traditional vibe to it as well, which is really nice. So yeah, recommended.
sweet. I think I think that speaks to the best advice to give people. Um, in my opinion, of course, I made a video on this recently, but basically to do what you're talking about doing and just sort of walk, and just I mean pick a direction you haven't really explored all that much and say, okay, I'm gonna walk 20 minutes in that direction, like or don't set a time, whatever, and then just sort of run into what you run into. Um, and the thing here, I feel like there's always something, so much more so than any place I've ever lived before, is that you walk through like an area where there's like a convenience store, and then there's like a mall, and then there's something else, and then like just beyond the parking lot of that mall, there's a really dense thicket of bamboo, and beyond that, it turns out there's a national heritage tomb site, right? Which is something that just happened the other day. So yeah, walk, I guess. Charlie says walk. Best advice ever.
But it's definitely true because, like, I mean, I've lived here like almost 3 years, but I barely know my neighborhood, and I mean, I don't even know some parts of my school. So, like, exchange students who are here for only 6 months, they're like really shocked that I don't know as much as I probably should. So,
Mm.
good advice: walk.
uh, and it's my guru advice. That's what they pay me the big bucks for. But yeah, guys. Anyway, I think that'll do it for us for tonight. Um, thank you to everybody who came to watch. I really appreciate it. Cool to see regulars, some of you new people who were no doubt brought on by Bernie and Lisa's awesomeness. That's a word. So please check out their channels in the info area below the video. You'll be able to find links to both their channels. Check out their videos. Subscribe to them. You want to. You should. And I don't know why you haven't already. But anyway, guys, if there's anything you'd like to say before we close out, please do.
Thank you for having us. I guess it's been really fun. Nice to see some new people in the comments and stuff who I wasn't familiar with already. So yeah, it's been
Indeed.
a really good experience.
Yeah, very, very, very nice to meet. I guess meet you two in person, virtually.
Digital world. This is the Digimon world.
Yeah. And like, yeah, thanks to everybody who came to hang out. It was really fun.
Mm. Indeed, all right. Thanks, guys, as always, for watching. Tune in next week. We're gonna have another one. We're gonna have another hangout. It's gonna be a karaoke live stream. Oh, what is that adorable thing you have in your hands, Bernie?
The mommy Shiba.
Oh,
Oh wow.
those things are so creepy / adorable.
Cute.
But yeah, guys, thanks as always for watching. I'll see you next week at 10 p.m. If you feel like joining along, it's going to be like an open mic night type thing. So the idea is, and this was inspired during a drunken appearance on Three Old Dudes the other night. Basically, we'll pick a song, we'll find like a karaoke version of it on YouTube, and everybody will sing along. It's going to be a great time. So see you next week. Cheers.
Bye.